It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers home after a 6-game road trip to open up with Arizona. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, they arrive and they are hurting. They were 1-11 at home. They were just swept by the New York Mets. They've lost 6 in a row, and they're 0-5 against the Dodgers. And yet, don't let the numbers fool you. Each of the last 3 years, Arizona has come to Dodger Stadium and beaten the Dodgers 6 out of 9. For Arizona tonight, it'll be left-hander Wade Miley. He is 3-3 lifetime against the Dodgers. However, he is 3-0 at Dodger Stadium. He was a 16-game winner 2 years ago, won 10 last year only because he left the game with a chance to win 6 times, and the bullpen let it get away. On the mound for the Dodgers, it'll be Zach Greinke. He is 10-2 at Dodger Stadium in his career, and not only that, he's really been on a roll. Greinke is 3-0 in his career as a Dodger against Arizona, and he has not allowed more than 2 runs in each of his last 15 starts. We'll get to the ball game, pull up a chair. It's going to be a good one, and we'll be back with a lot more right after this.
In his left hand, you can see he was hit there by a 90-mile-an-hour fastball by Ryan Vogelsong. Could not grip the bat, but he is back and playing at short once again today. In yesterday's game, it was Justin Turner who was actually at the shortstop position. He is moving over to second base where he normally plays when he is in the lineup. He's batting in the 2-hole, and a couple of people were questioning the decision. Don Mattingly saying earlier that he likes it because he likes to balance the lineup out. He said Turner handles a good bat. He can go the other way. Mattingly likes him there because he knows how to do situational hitting. Justin Turner at second base and Hanley Ramirez at short. Dodgers fans getting ready for game one between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Vince Scully on the call next.
Beginning of a 10-game homestand for the Dodgers, having just returned from Arizona and San Francisco. The Dodgers take the field tied with San Francisco for first. Arizona will take the field in last place in a 5-team division. They are 7 games back. Zach Greinke going to the mound, 3-0 this year. If you look at his career record, he is 3-3. However, as a Dodger against Arizona, he is 3-0. And pitching in one of his favorite ballparks, Greinke here at Dodger Stadium has 10 wins and 2 losses and has that long, amazing streak. He's allowed no more than 2 runs in 15 straight starts. So Zach Greinke, Wade Miley, and the Dodgers and the D-backs in game 1. For Kurt Gibson, he brings in a ball club that was weary at home. They were swept by the Mets. They come here with a 6-game losing streak, but they play well here. Each of the last 3 years, they've won 6 out of 9 from the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. So here's the lineup they hope they'll get well with. Gerardo Parra opens up in right field. Aaron Hill, the second baseman. Then the big gun, Paul Goldschmidt at first base. He already has 24 hits this year. Miguel Montero, the left-hand hitting catcher, bats cleanup. Cody Ross, former Dodger and with the Diamondbacks, been on the DL for a long time with a bad hip. However, Cody has been reinstated, and sure enough, he's back in the lineup against his old club. Martin Prado will be at third base. Chris Owings, the shortstop. A.J. Pollock in center field, and Wade Miley on the mound. Couple of things about Arizona, and it's been a pattern. If they are ahead after 3 innings in the game, their record is 2-2. If Arizona is trailing after 3 innings, their record is 1-9. So it's a kind of a ball club, obviously, that needs to get the jump. And one reason the Dodgers have done well is their ability to get on the board first, and they've won 10 games doing that. Gerardo Parra will start it off. He'll be followed by Aaron Hill and then Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie, by the way, has been on base by hit, walk, or whatever in 40 of the 48 games he's played against the Dodgers. So here is Gerardo Parra, the veteran, and a Gold Glove in right field. 55 assists in his career the last time we checked. Greinke ready and delivers, and the first pitch is low, ball 1, 1-0. Giants playing San Diego, then they'll play Colorado. Dodgers play here, +4 coming up with Philadelphia, and then they'll get Colorado. The 1-0 pitch on the way, Parra takes, and that's low, ball 2. 65 degrees at the start of the evening on this 18th of April. Good Friday night preceding Easter Sunday. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Parra waiting, left-hand batter. Greinke comes to him, and it's swung on and fouled away, and the count 2-1. Greinke hitting 90 on the gun. So Parra, who means so much and got the ultimate compliment from his manager Kirk Gibson, who called him a complete player. So Kirk leaning on the railing, hoping to have a better fortune here. And the 2-1 pitch on the way, swung on and fouled off. 2-2 to Gerardo Parra. Parra is from Santa Barbara del Zulia, that's in Venezuela. We mentioned the fact that he's the complete player. He picked up a Gold Glove. There's only 3 Diamondbacks in the club's history to win a Gold Glove: Orlando Hudson, Steve Finley, and Parra, who hits a hopper by the diving Adrian Gonzalez into right field. And the D-backs open up with their leadoff man, Gerardo Parra, a single into right field. That will bring up Aaron Hill. Before we see Hill, here are the Dodgers defensively: Gonzalez and Turner, Ramirez, Uribe, Van Slyke, Kemp, and Puig. The battery of Greinke and Fedorovich. Turner playing, of course, for D. Gordon against the left-hander. And a couple of the Dodgers sitting down, Carl Crawford and Andre Ethier. So here's Aaron Hill. Hill batting just .222, checking in. Greinke out of his stretch, keeping an eye on Parra. Now works his hitter, gets the inside corner for a strike. Parra, standing on first base, is 1 for 2 in stolen bases. Chris Owings, the shortstop, is 4 for 4. He's the leading runner in the Diamondback pack. So Greinke out of his stretch with Parra held on by Gonzalez. Strike 1 pitch, hard ground ball to Uribe. He goes down to Turner, and he turns it, and they get the double play. Dodgers, by the way, have done extremely well turning the double play. That is the 20th double play turned in by the Dodgers. They're number 1 in the National League in DPs. So around the horn, 5-4-3, 2 down, and the batter now is Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie, a remarkable young player. And with all of his good numbers, he's really dynamite here at Dodger Stadium. At Dodger Stadium, in his career, hitting .361 here, 30 hits, 6 home runs, and 18 runs batted in. So the big right-hand batter swings, fouls it back, and the count 0-1. If you look at Goldschmidt's work against the Dodgers both here and away, he's still a formidable hitter, batting .333, 9 home runs, 33 runs batted in. And if you've been following him at all, you know that he really owns Tim Lincecum. Strike 1 pitch is taken low, 1-1. All Goldschmidt is doing is hitting .542 against Lincecum with 7 home runs and 17 runs batted in. So 2 down, bases empty, first inning. Greinke ready and comes back. Check swing on a pitch low. 2-1 the count. So Paul Goldschmidt, outstanding young player. He has 56 hits in 40 games against the Dodgers, including 20 extra base hits. Right-hand batter waits. Greinke rocks and turns on the rubber, and the 2-1 pitch is taken a little low, and the count goes 3-1 to Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie, and those who know, and that would be, of course, his manager, Kirk Gibson, Miguel Montero, left-hand hitting catcher on deck. But Goldie's become a Gold Glove first baseman. He takes a strike, and the count 3-2. He's 6'3", 245 pounds. He'll be 27. Oh, he's really just starting. 27 in September. Last year, 36 home runs and 125 runs batted in. Greinke ready, goes 3-2 and deals, and it is low, ball 4. I'm not sure how much of Goldschmidt he wanted with 2 out. So the batter now, Miguel Montero, who catches just about every inning, it seems, when the Dodgers play the Diamondbacks. Miggy, as they call him over there, has had a good deal of success, including a home run against Zach Greinke. Though Montero at the plate, 2 down, first inning. Goldschmidt takes a cautious lead, held on by Gonzalez. Greinke ready and delivers, and the pitch is high, ball 1, 1-0. Miguel Montero hitting .241. He has a home run, 8 runs batted in. Has a look down to Glenn Sherlock, the coach at third, before getting back up to the plate. Greinke set a backward glance at Goldschmidt, and the 1-0 pitch of the left-hand hitter, and that one's a little high, ball 2. 2-0 the count. You don't expect Goldschmidt to do any running, but he is 2 for 2 in stolen bases. Dave McKay talking to him for the moment. 2-0 the count to Miguel Montero, who's hit safely 5 of the last 7 games. He takes a strike, and the count 2-1. So Goldschmidt with a 2-out walk after Parra single. Aaron Hill bangs into a double play. And with 2 out, a 2-1 count to Goldschmidt put him eventually on base, and now 2-1 to Montero. And the pitch is off the plate. So Greinke, at least for the moment, is fighting it a little bit. 3-1 to Miguel Montero. Dodgers could use a well-pitched game because they have been burning up the bullpen. 3 pitchers yesterday, that wasn't bad. 3 bullpenners the day before as Montero fouls it back. Then that was that game where the Giants won 3-2 in 12 innings. The Dodgers went to the bullpen 6 times. The game before that, they went to the bullpen 5 times. So for fellas like Paul Maholm and whoever goes out there in this series, Dan Herron tomorrow and Josh Beckett the next game, they have to give the Dodgers some innings and give the bullpen a rest. 3-2, they're not holding Goldschmidt. He'll go, and the pitch to Montero swung on and fouled away. So Goldschmidt comes back, and Montero, deep in the count, has run it as far as he can go. Miggy has perked up in the last 5 games, 6 for 18, so that's a nice .333 batting average. Montero waiting. Goldschmidt not held on by Gonzalez. There he goes. And Montero takes way off the plate, ball 4. So Greinke in the